I swear, one of the reasons why men are so lonely is because they don't know how to be alone. Not in a healthy way. Like, they may spend a lot of time alone. What? He doesn't like to be alone either. They may spend a lot of time alone, but they don't know how to be alone in a way that isn't about escapism, that isn't about avoiding things. I'm making gross generalizations, but I swear to God. So many men, this is why they like jump. And women do this too, but men do it for different reasons. The free labor, the just physical touch of somebody, because they don't touch men. They don't hug each other. I mentioned this in my viral article, Men Have No Friends and Women Bear the Burden. They like do fist bumps and whatever. They don't touch each other. This is in the United States, okay? That's what I'm referring to, those men. It's not just there. It's not all US American men, but it is a very, very homophobic culture and very puritanical culture. And so they don't touch each other. And a lot of their alone time is based on escapism, not creativity. It's about passively watching football, or chasing adrenaline. A lot of times it's very passive things, or like they don't do anything. They don't make anything, don't create anything. Or it is like the opposite to an extreme where they're just going to run, marathon, go to Everest, do whatever. Just chase. The adrenaline high. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are so empty and dead inside and depressed because they haven't developed their inner world. So they don't know how to be alone. And again, I know a lot of women don't know how to be alone. They go from one relationship to the next, but this is not about them, okay? But parentheses, if you're one of these women who has never dated yourself and never been alone and happy alone, you should stop dating, because you're going to recreate these terrible patterns in all your relationships. And we don't even know who we are if we don't date ourselves. Because every time we date men, especially, patriarchy wants us to be hijacked into those relationships. And then if you already have codependency and stuff like that from your childhood, good luck. You won't even see yourself for another 20 years or whatever. Goodbye. But I want to do this column of a column for the, what the hell, man? This is my column of a column. I go over a column and see what I would say, because I really do think that a lot of times we can see these themes play out in other people's stories. And this is a great example of men who, and I've said this about men, when their wife dies, they literally bring the girlfriend to the funeral. Like, they will not stay alone. They don't die of a broken heart. They just did an article about that recently. I'll do a whole separate video on that. Let me know if you want it. You want that, because I've talked about it before, but I want to talk about it again, because they're literally just keep peddling this, like, men die more of a broken heart. No, they don't. They die because they don't want to take care of themselves, and they have no friends, and a lot of other reasons, but it's not a broken heart. But I saw this today, and I want to talk about this. And by the way, please follow my Patreon if you can afford to. That's where I do travel content, watch parties, live stuff. Like, that's how I do my more personal stuff, and that's what pays my bills these days. So also, please send good vibes. I'm taking my big language test for nationality. If I don't pass this, I won't get it. It's very high stakes test on Wednesday, so please send me good vibes. So let's just look at how men talk about themselves. Hi, Carolyn. I love Carolyn. I usually agree with her. I'm a proud daddy of 2 little ones who are 5 and 3. God, I swear, I can already tell how this is going to go. I just read over this really quick. My own father abandoned my family when my sister and I... God, the jokes write themselves. When my sister and I were about the same age that my kids are now. Have you heard the term cycle breaker? Because that is not what you're doing. You're literally like, God, dude, I barely remember him, but it has taken my mom and sister years of therapy, fights, and other drama to get over it. Okay, well, I know everything we need to know right now. Unlike his sister and mom, he apparently hasn't dealt with this at all, because he didn't say, I've been to therapy. He says, it has taken my mom and sister years of therapy, fights, and other drama to get over it. You're not over it, bro. You're not over it. That is literally why you have become the man that you can't stand. Your dad. God, I swear to God, they'll just be like, I don't understand why I'm doing this, but are too lazy and cheap and stubborn to get the one thing that could maybe help them break these patterns, which is therapy or something to help them deal with the trauma. This is trauma, dude. Your dad abandoned you. So many men are going out there and terrorizing women and traumatizing women because they will not deal with what their dad did. Now, also maybe what their mom did. But we know that it's dads that are abandoning their kids regularly, and then voila, The same fucking thing. He's like, no, but look, just because he's going to explain. Hold on, just watch. As everyone in my family now knows, I am separating from my wife and will soon be moving in with the love of my life. My dad left my mom for the love of his life too. They always find the love of their life while married. Now, I'm not saying that this person they're with isn't the love of their life, but a lot of these men are literally just moving on to the next person to escape the very life they created and become the very man they hate and probably blame their mom for. Like, I bet he probably has never even dealt with his anger at his dad. And so now he is his dad. In no way, all caps, does this mean that I will not continue to be a full-time father to my children. But my sister doesn't see it that way. See, here, let me tell you how this is going to play out. The love of your life, you're going to have children with, and you will abandon yours, most likely. You're not going to see, like, first of all, I am guessing this is an affair. I don't know if he says it or not. I don't remember. But if you are separating from your wife and moving in with the love of your life, there is no way this isn't an affair. You're still married, bro. So I've talked about this in videos before, but when you betray your wife or the mother of your children, you are betraying your children. And I wish we talked about that more. This is not just about the partner. You are betraying your children when you do this. If you didn't love your wife, you should have left her. You should have left her before you hook up with someone new. God! The betrayal trauma is not just for the partner. I swear to God. It took me so long to realize that I wasn't crazy for feeling so betrayed by my father. And yet they're just like, no, I'm just hurting my wife. And that stupid bitch, I don't care. The other day, she accused me in tears, stupid, whiny, crying bitch, of being our father, of leaving my family to find my own happiness. See, because your sister has been to therapy. She sees a pattern, and that's exactly what you're doing. The delusion of this man. In no way. This is both inaccurate and unfair, but it has me feeling horrible. How do I clear my conscience and ensure that my sister is actually wrong? You don't! I love that he has no friends, clearly. If he had good friends, they would have held him accountable for this behavior, right? But most men don't have friends, and if they do, they just go do dumb stuff with. They don't actually have deep conversations and hold each other accountable and be like, bro, do you really want to do this? What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Maybe you should be single for a while. Before I get into Carolyn's response, my biggest problem with this is that this is what I mean. They can't be alone, mostly because of labor, okay? They want free labor. They don't want to have to cook and clean for themselves. They don't want to have to pay a schmegs worker. They don't want to have to pay a therapist. He won't even pay a therapist to get over major trauma. They don't want to have to pay anyone to do all this free cognitive labor, all that stuff. So they want free labor. And they also have no inner worlds developed. They have no social fabric developed. He clearly doesn't have very many friends. The meaningful friendships, or he wouldn't be writing into a stranger to tell him what to do. You could literally pay a therapist, bro, but you won't. Now you got me talking about it. This man, I'm telling you, I don't care like what the affair or no affair, whatever. If you are divorcing, you should not be getting into a relationship immediately. Like, there's a reason why they call it rebound. You have got to heal that stuff and figure out what the hell went wrong. Understand your mistakes. You have to learn the lesson from the last relationship, or you will literally repeat it again and again and again. No, but I found the love of my life. So I'm pretty sure Carolyn's going to hold his feet to the fire like she's a dear va. Easy. Don't move in with this love of your life. Boom, out of the gate. She's like, nope, this is the same. This is what, can't be alone. Can't be alone. This is what I mean. And the funny thing is even when they're with us, they're alone because they're not actually being intimate in really healthy ways a lot of times. They're usually escaping into their stupid man cave or going and doing stuff or on their phone or doing games or whatever, right? So even when they're with us, they're alone, but they like to have a pet. I've said this before. Some men, they just want a dog to sit next to them and watch TV with. A dog that also does endless labor for free. They just want to be eternal bachelor with someone there. They want a witness to their life. They want like a little robot. They should get robots, honestly. As much as I'm terrified of robots, as I think we should be, because hello, I was raised with Terminator 2. I wish people would remember that. AI is not our friend. Anyway, I'm kind of hope that they get robots. You know, they're going to beat those robots. They're going to fork those robots. They're going to yell and scream and punch these robots. But you know what? Leave us alone. But that's really what they want is robots, because they have conversations like this that aren't really deep a lot of times. So why not give them a robot to have the same, match that energy instead of us trying to pull stuff from them or tell them things and they just don't listen or care and don't ask follow-up questions. Swear to God, if you don't, like, any woman who is in the dating world right now knows that they're too lazy to even talk on the apps. They won't ask you questions. They don't, or they'll answer a question. They don't know how to play tennis. Conversation tennis, right? It's that you're building something here, and you ask them a question. Like, no. Hey, the thoughtful thing would be like, no, I don't. How about you? Give them a robot. Give them a robot. But honestly, that won't do, because they still, like, they want us at the end of the day. They hate us, but they don't know what to do without us. And all that boils down to entitlement under patriarchy. And if they would deal with that and childhood trauma, maybe they would be okay, but they won't. That power, they won't let go of it. If your marriage is over, then it's over. I'm not going to jump on the guilt wagon and say you have an ironclad obligation to stay in the home you created. I mean, and I agree here. You know what? If you hate your wife and you hate your life, get out. Leave. Get out, leave, but don't do it with an affair. Although, you know what? If you got to go, you got to go. Again, my dad had an affair, and that's why he left. And it was the best thing that ever happened to us. But it still, the way he left created a lot of unnecessary trauma. Like, just go. But they're too cowardly to actually go. So they need a woman to pull them out of it. Like they've already left. They've checked out. But they need an excuse. They need to triangulate two women against each other so that then those women can be busy hating each other instead of hating the man that's doing all this. But I do agree. Get out. If you hate your kids, which they'll never admit. If you hate your wife and aren't really interested in your kids, get out. But the thing is, he's going to have kids with this new love of his life. Probably cheat on her too. But those kids are going to get all the attention because that's who he's going to live with. That's what's going to be asked for him. And these kids are going to get less and less as time goes on. Love and duty do fuse together in the acts of marriage and childbearing without question. But the duty is to treat your family's needs as equal to your own. Oh, burn Caroline. That's right. The duty is to treat your family's needs as equal to your own. And this right here summarizes why men are lonely and they're going to die alone if they don't start doing this. This is what they won't do, and this is why we're over it. Equal your own, to override self and family destructive impulses, to own your mistakes and to regard breaking your vows as the very last resort when all efforts to sustain a healthy marriage have failed. Exactly. What have you done to save this marriage? What have you invested in this marriage? Have you done anything? Or did you just get bored and start hating the woman because what? You're not the king baby anymore. She centers around the kids more and not you. Whatever it is, right? He didn't want to deal with that. He hadn't even been in therapy for his own stuff. I'm sure he's not in couples therapy. So why not just find a new exciting shiny new toy, a new exotic bird to pluck the feathers off of and knock up? It is not a duty to feign love when you don't feel any, or stay for the kids when the only model you're providing for marriage is one of your unrelenting dysfunction. Exactly. And I've said this before. I don't like it when people stay for the kids. I get it. Sometimes it's a financial thing and whatever, but I wish less people would stay for the kids, because my dad didn't stay for the kids. And again, as much trauma as that created, it let me watch a single mom centering herself and her children rather than a single mom or a married single mom chasing around a man who doesn't want anything to do with her, doing all the labor, like just the heavy lifting in the relationship, and that being normalized. That was not normalized for me. TV and, culture, society tried to normalize that for me, but my mother did not. That is not my default. That is not my default, because that's not what I witnessed. And I love that for me. Please don't stay for the kids because you want to be from a broken home, as if it is broken only because there's not a man in it. Get for real. Feigning love, pretending, all that stuff, that's not necessarily going to help those kids, especially when it's usually at the expense of a mother self-abandoning regularly to center around the king baby. But that is not what this is even about. This is what he's hiding behind. Don't you want me to be happy? This is how they all think. I swear to God, when they have an affair, they're like, but I have the right to be happy. Didn't try to be happy in my last relationship. And again, maybe he married for the wrong reasons. Maybe they're not compatible. But they cheat. Or they stay and are miserable until she finally asks for a divorce because they don't know how to be alone. They don't want to be alone. And they want free labor. Just like the guys who go and climb Everest when they have 2 small kids. I have the right to be happy. I should do what makes me happy. That's why go climb Everest. Spend all the family's money. Leave them behind, and die. Or go have an affair. Whatever it is that makes you feel alive. Because they're just... that doesn't serve anyone. Not your wife, kids, or you. Though admittedly, you're the least of my worries. Oh, Carolyn, I love you. When you move in with your new love, however, you're not saying, my marriage isn't working and it's best for the kids if we raise them in 2 households. What you're saying is, the wife was okay, but this woman's better. Also known as, I'm leaving my family to find my own happiness. I love how she just does not mince words here. She's like, bro, you can tell yourself whatever you want, but you're leaving because you're selfish. That's it. The only difference between you and your father is that as a veteran of parental abandonment, you get how wrong it is to abandon your kids in the process and plan to remain involved. I mean, on some level, that this makes it even worse. You know what? If his dad left him, but his grandfather hadn't done that, then this is worse. You know how much it sucks. You know what it feels like to be abandoned. This is worse. But he tells himself, no, I'm not going to not be a present parent, I promise. I'm just going to go for the love of my life because I deserve happiness. It's a huge character-fueled distinction, but not an entirely redeeming one. Let's say your marriage really is broken for reasons unrelated to your falling for someone else, for basically an affair. And let's say your new love, both the person and the relationship you share, is so healthy that it'll actually help you create the kind, stable, and loving home you so urgently owe your children. Both of these conditions would be better served by your putting the brakes on the rush to shack up with love too. Exactly. Even if this is a great relationship, and even if it is good for everybody, it's the fact that he is jumping into a new relationship. I mean, let's just take the affair aside, which is, again, betrayal trauma. But it's the fact that he is just forcing a whole new mother figure into their lives. No in-between period. It's the way he's doing it, and he can't be alone. By concentrating on one major upheaval at a time and leaving the significant time in between for emotions and other dust to settle, exactly, your separation will go better. The transition process for your kids will go better. The progress of your new romance will go better. Literally everything benefits from him not rushing into a new relationship with his affair partner, moving in together immediately. They'll probably have kids immediately and get married. He is literally sabotaging everything, including his relationship with his ex-wife and children, by doing all this, but he can't be alone. Can't be alone. They found the new shiny toy. In the last case, I don't mean a better chance of staying together. I mean a better chance at creating something healthy, which can mean anything from being together for life to dating casually to breaking up. Rushing into this new love while still living with the old one means you haven't given yourself any chance to determine whether you and she are good together under normal relationship conditions. Exactly. With all this going on, the stakes are too high. Plus, it tells your kids that it's okay to chase greener grass. For the love of your children, literally, please establish separation, home for just you and your kids, custody agreement, divorce, new family equilibrium, Warm and civil co-parenting between you and your ex and personal emotional health, that's critical, especially before you go butter over handlebars into the neck, the big one. Oh, Carol! This is a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece. Everything she just said. I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts? Let me know. Please follow my Patreon if you can. Please say some good words for my text. Let me know if you heard the comments. Free museum night, free museum night. We like to go see free stuff. Look at this big old dudes and lots of Jesus. Jesus everywhere. Self-portrait intense. Look at that face. This one wasn't even finished. Don't know why, but it's not finished. Then lots of people doing weird stuff. Flowers on your head. Men grabbing the boob. Look at the guy on the right. Oh my God. Lots of people doing fun stuff. Playing music and looks like he's coming. This guy looks kind of intense and boring and judgmental, but he wasn't wearing boots like that. Whoa, boots like that. Big ass paintings everywhere. Free night at the museum. Free night at the museum. So intense like cutting off the head. Free night museum. Free night at the museum. Comment song. Join my Patreon, please.